we've talked a bit about your long-term goal of like libraries and heroes and kind of giving back to the culture that you come from and like this the times that we find ourselves in. And um, given that, like, I guess I can guess at how the different things that you're doing fit into that, but I'd be curious to hear how you would describe that of like, you're writing books and how the books fit in, or like how your threads fit in, or the videos that you're making, or anything else that you happen to be doing, like your grant, you're working on this grant that you're offering to people. How does that all fit into the long-term vision as you see it right now?
I mean, so I don't have a fixed central
Sure,
plan or some kind of,
sure.
yeah. So it's really just I do everything that I think is interesting and exciting, and it's very subconscious. And I guess like once, ideally, like maybe once a month, I would sit down and kind of evaluate everything. But the truth is, I probably evaluate maybe every 3 months or so. I don't know when I feel like it. So it roughly
Mhm.
feels like every couple of months or so. It depends on where I'm at, but like you know so there are things that I just do all the time. So I'm always talking to people. I'm always, even now I'm reaching a stage where I kind of wonder if there are people on Twitter who feel uncomfortable that I'm in their replies because they have 300 followers and I have 30,000. Like, to me, it's just, I'm just some guy on the internet talking to other people on the internet. But I wonder if I'm reaching a threshold where it makes people uncomfortable and I have to be sensitive to that. But yeah, that's just kind of an example of like, again, like the grand vision is whatever super library, but like it requires a lot of people, and like it requires people who understand each other and people who have a shared understanding. And so one way to do that is to talk to lots and lots of people. That doesn't scale, right? Like, so I can talk to dozens of people a day, but if I want to be talking to thousands of people, like, then I should have content. I should have videos, blog posts, books. And the everything that I'm putting in my books is stuff that I already have in tweets and threads and blog posts. And so the way I think about my books is actually very simple. I think about my books as condensed conversations that I've had with people. So it's like I regularly get people in my DMs asking me questions, and to answer their questions, so initially I'm just answering off off the cuff, right? I'm just saying whatever comes to mind. Once I've talked to like 10 people, 20 people, I'm like, oh, the 20 people that I've spoken to, every single one of them has, or like, 80% of them all have the same question about how do I not feel like a failure in life, right? That's a pretty common question people ask. And so I'm like, okay, I should make some content about how do I not feel like a failure in life. So I have a YouTube video about that. And now I can share that video with anybody who has that question. And then I continue having more conversations with people, and so it compounds. Like, you keep talking to people, you see where they get stuck, you talk through a bunch of people about where they get stuck, and then you formulate some kind of solution, sort of, and then you share that with more people, and then that usually goes viral a little bit, I mean, relative to what you normally post, because it resonates with people because it hits a pain point that somebody has. If it's a problem someone has described, it's a problem that multiple people have because someone has described it. And so then when you solve it, multiple people will have a solution. Multiple people will enjoy that solution. And when you then hear from more of those people, and then they all be like, oh, but what about this? What about that? How about the details of that? And then that's how the book kind of comes together. It's just answering all the questions that people have. Right. So, in fact, I think the earliest formats of all of my books, well, both of my books, I have two books. Both books started out as FAQs, basically, right? It's just documentation for what people ask me and what I think the solutions are and what the follow up questions are. But I've oscillated on this. An FAQ is a great way to present information in like a blog or something, like a reference document for people to follow, but it's not a great way to write a book. And I'm not entirely sure why this is. I'm still trying to piece it together and figuring it out. But there's something about the principles of storytelling that I'm trying to understand. And I've always, again, I just love books and I love libraries, so I would like to participate in that process. But I mean, I guess if you're asking a question of like, why should a book exist? Why a book? And it's like, a book is a series, it's a reading experience from start to finish, right? I'm not going to say it's a series of blog posts because that's actually a bit different. But a book is a reading experience from start to finish that basically you should write a book the moment a single blog post or a couple of blog posts can't cut it, right? Like, so you write a couple of blog posts and it solves somebody's problem, but like you just need to bring them on a bigger, longer walk. It's like it's a journey, right? It's like, and I kind of use the same principle for talking about a lot of other things. It's like so I started out making long videos on YouTube because I just wanted to ramble for as long as possible and practice speaking. But that was not meant to be packaged for users, for readers, for viewers, right? Like I make it because I can, and because it's public, because if people want to see it they can see it. But I don't really like recommend strongly that people go and watch it, because it's like 40 minutes. Like, if you want to sit through that, you can, and people do that and they do get value out of it. But the end goal is just, I'm still developing myself. I'm still, again, it's a long game, so I'm still getting into the habit of speaking and getting familiar with my talking points. And then now my videos are shorter. Now my videos are like 10 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, but mostly 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. And as I repeat myself over and over again, I will get more confident. I will get more experienced. I will receive feedback from other people. I'll integrate that. And then eventually it's going to get down to like 3 minutes, 4 minutes of really intense content. And then there will come a point where a series of the kind of heaviest shots, right? Like, if you think of a 3 minute video as like a shot, it's just kind of not, well, it will help people to some degree, but just a series of shots does not, that if you try to have a series of good shots, it can imply a certain bigger vision or worldview or something, but it doesn't, and that will be very helpful to a subset of people, but it doesn't take people all the way there. So and that's like what a book is supposed to be, in my frame. So a book is, it's like a city. It's like a walk through a whole city, in a sense. And you can never show anyone an entire city in a single walk, because it's just, you need to be there constantly for years and watch how things, watch this place come up, this place shut down, and experience it different hours of the day, take different, to understand a city is a lifelong project. But you know a book is you get I almost want to say that the point of the book is a commitment of from the part of the reader. The point of the book is that the reader makes a commitment to sitting with these ideas for this length of time, and this length of, to go on such a long walk, right? So it's like suppose you want to go for a walk every day for like half an hour, right? Like, just, yeah, to stay healthy or whatever. You go for a walk every day, you get fitter and whatever. But then why would you want to go for like a pilgrimage of like a long walk of like, like a marathon length walk over the course of a whole day, or go walking, hiking on a trail for weeks, right? The idea of doing these larger things is not just to get your steps in, right, but to undergo a journey where you expect to learn things about yourself along the way and be transformed along the way. Like a book should do that. So I have very high standards for what a book should do, which is why I'm taking so long with my second book. And but yeah, I do. I believe that I have been transformed by books myself in growing up, and there is a certain relationship between a person and the book they're reading. If the book is good, if the book has soul, right? If the book really represents an author's intent, and they're really trying to show you a lot, all at once, one after another, sequentially, in order. They're trying to really get you to consider and inhabit a space for days on end. That's just a very powerful thing. It's a form of intimacy. And do you see how it is? It's like getting someone to read your tweets. Yeah, read a blog post, cool. But to read a book is a big ask, and you're asking them to invite your thoughts to inhabit their mind for a pretty long period of time. It's a very, very intimate thing to ask. And part of me is I desire intimacy in that sense. But also, it's just, I believe that just I've learned a lot of things. I can help a lot of people. I have helped a lot of people. But it's in a very piecemeal way, and it'll just be great if I can just recommend a book to someone. Like, if someone needs help I can just give them my book. That's a beautiful, it's a beautiful thing, beautiful option to have. Like, here is the book that, here, so together, Friendly Ambitious Nerd and Introspect, they will together be, the sum of what has helped me through my teens and 20s, through my loneliness and uncertainty and kinship, like recreating myself. Again, there's no substitute for like having someone like Dinesh sit next to you for 5.5 years and you talk to them every day. But like, it's the next best thing I think that I can give a lot of people. So that's what I want to do.